What is up, you guys? It is Dialio YGO here, and in today's video I'm gonna be giving you guys my ban list discussion for the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG October 2022 ban list. So yeah, guys, we finally got our ban list here for the TCG, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this list won't be applying to me as much as you'd think it would, because I'm actually primarily an OCG player, but I do play in the TCG a little bit, and I am somewhat familiar with what their meta is looking like and like how it's been shaping recently with the new release of Spright and Tearlament in the TCG. So I'm gonna be giving you guys my discussion. This is not gonna be a full-blown reaction. I've already seen the list, and I've kind of been able to gather my thoughts from this list and be able to, get a somewhat of an idea of how this list is supposed to be shaping the meta moving forward. So before we get into that, guys, don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it. Comment down below what you guys do want to see next, and definitely subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss out anytime I upload videos. But with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and get into the ban list. So for the first ban here, you guys can see here, it's going to be Fairy Tale Snow. I know this is a hit that the TCG has been complaining about for quite some time, especially people at the local level, because Snow is just a really broken card that you could just trigger too many times in the right type of mill sort of strategy. So seeing this banned again after going from one on the last list is a really good hit in my opinion. So I'm actually happy it's here. Luckily for me in the OCG, I've not needed to deal with this all that much, but it is what it is. For the next ban, we got Ronin Tonin going from 3 to 0 now. So obviously this is going to be an indirect hit to Spright, because Spright is still somewhat of a new strategy in the TCG. So obviously they would not want to hit cards like Gigantic or Elf or anything of that sort, or even Blue for that matter. So seeing Ronin Tonin getting banned, it's not the worst. You still have ways to send to use Swap Frog's effect to send another copy of itself, and you still have Dupe Frog legal, just as a spoiler alert, as part of the engine. So it is not the worst thing in the world, but it's something that will hurt the engine a little bit and make it less appealing to play. So I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the worst hit either. So it's just kind of like a slight stab wound, I guess I would say. So yeah, that's what it is. And obviously one of the bigger hits of this list that we got here is Christian Halki Vibrax going to Forbidden, since it was at 1 for quite a long time. And obviously people have only played 1 unless you're really a weird combo player that happens to play 2 or 3. But regardless, seeing Hulk getting the ban in the TCG has been long overdue for a lot of players, because this card alone has enabled way too many combos throughout the years and has been legal for quite some time, and just has been a part of so many degenerate combos in many different ways, in many shapes and forms. And seeing this finally get hit in the current state of the meta does not really make a whole lot of sense, because in this current meta, Halki Vibrax is not the most important card out there, but it does still enable so many different kinds of plays in combo decks in general. So seeing this get hit, I feel will kind of bring somewhat of a mixed reaction in the player base, but that's what it is. And then the next hit here we got is Chaos Ruler, the chaotic magical dragon, going to 0 now. So this is somewhat in the same boat as Christian Halki Vibrax, whereas this has been able to enable so many different plays throughout the years. And recently, I think in some combo decks or in some mill strategies, you could use this to go into something like Baron de Fleur to get a negate for your opponent going second. So this is not the worst hit. This feels a bit weird, but I'm not as surprised by it. I know some people were calling out to get hit, but I've never felt like it would get addressed in any shape or form, but it looks like they caught me by surprise. And that is gonna be it here. And the last hit, obviously, that I forgot to talk about here is Red Reboot, going from 1 to 0. I don't really understand why they hit this card. Obviously, there is supposed to be another card here that is a spell that was supposed to get hit here, but instead they hit this trap, which is a bit weird. I don't know why they wanted to hit this. It's already saggy enough to play with going first. So, I mean, this is not the worst hit, but I mean, I'm just kind of a bit confused why they would want to hit this. So, I mean, it's Konami, so I mean, they have no context in why or how they hit cards in the meta. So, I mean, I can't really complain too much about this. I should be somewhat happy because I am a trap-based player. So, I mean, this makes me somewhat relieved, but in the overall context of the meta, this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And that is it, guys, for the banned cards. For the limits here, you can see here Blackwing Steam the Cloak, and if we go down here, Mega Phantom Visa Line just went from Forbidden to Limited now. So now you can play one copy of each. And without being banned, obviously these cards are not going to be as much of a bummer and not going to be as easily accessible in any generic combo strategy. So these coming off the list are somewhat okay. They're both somewhat in the same boat where they can generate tokens and give you some free advantage that you can make use of if you're playing the right type of combo deck. But in the overall context of a lot of combo decks in general, this is going to be really hard for you to gain access to without the use of Christian Hauke Fireback. So I mean, it's not the worst, but you know, I'm finally happy that, you know, they're coming off from the list because of, you know, being on the list for so long because of Hauke. And Cyberjar seems to be the retro hit that they just seems to be the retro hit of the list, because they've kind of slowly been giving back some old school, like almost I would say Go format cards like Change of Heart, and now this coming to one. Obviously this was part of the Empty Jar FTK from way back in the early stages of Yu-Gi-Oh, but obviously that's not going to do a whole lot now because flip effects in general are not gonna be as relevant in today's metagame at this point. So I mean, this going to one does not mean anything whatsoever. Subso going to one is also fine because of the fact that Ronin Tonin being banned, there's no FTK that you can enable with this. So Substitute going to one is totally fine. I'm not at all that worried about it with as long as Ronin Tonin's banned. So this is fine, and it's just going to be a good card for frogs, I guess. I'm not much of a frog player, but I imagine this would be pretty good for them. And what else got limited here? Spelljove of Judgment just went to one. The OCG just recently got this card to one, I think from the ban list from the OCG 2 lists ago, or maybe 3, I could be wrong. But this going to one is fine. This has been power crept to hell at this point because spellbooks have not been doing a whole lot in the current meta whatsoever. And even with this coming to one and being able to enable access and being able to gain access to cards like Jowgen, even throughout my playtesting when I was still playing with Judgment at 1 in the OCG, it wasn't as consistent as I wanted it to be. And Jowgen is a somewhat is a really strong card when in the right circumstances, but trying to get it to ensure it sticks on the field is not as easy as you think, even with all the spellbook cards at your disposal that you can use to try to protect it. So I mean, this coming to 1 is not the biggest deal, and obviously getting a lot of pluses off of this, getting a bunch of surges are fine, but it doesn't really mean a whole lot in the context of how you want to play on your opponent after you end your turn, and especially with the fact that it doesn't even set the cards that you search off of this in the end phase, just doesn't make it all that good. So this coming to 1 does not mean anything. And a pointer of the Red Lotus is a lot like Red Reboot. Why did they put this to 1 is beyond me. I don't know why they would want to put a card like this to 1. I know there's a very small group of players out there that have been complaining about cards like this because the hand knowledge and the free rip and everything else you gain off of this is really strong. So I mean, besides that very small group in the overall context of the general player base, there's not really much of a reason why they would want to hit this. So this just feels like a really weird, unnecessary hit in my opinion. And there's nothing here for the semi-limits, but if we go to the unlimits, you can see there's quite a few here. So on Dynamite Night, the true Draco Fighter going to 3. I mean, this will be fun for Dynamite, I guess, because I don't think I don't think True Gang's been doing a whole lot at this point, and even with this coming to 3 is a cool consistency boost, but it's not gonna change the meta whatsoever. Cyber Agent Invention going to 3 is a little bit interesting. This might help Drytron see some play again, even in the rogue category, because I know Drytrons have not been doing a whole lot in the TCG recently because of, you know, all the hits that they've gotten in the past, and I think it's somewhat outlived its glory days at this point, and I don't really think it's gonna do too much to break the meta. But seeing this go to 3 is, I guess, fine, since Drytron's not everywhere at this point. Shooting Riser Dragon going to 3, this totally makes sense because they put it to 1 on the last list, and I don't even know why they would do that because most combo decks that try to play this only play 1 anyway, so putting this back to 3 just seems okay to me. Fusion Destiny going to 3 is interesting because especially with considering that Verte Anaconda is still banned. Obviously you don't have easy access to it as you used to in the past, but seeing this go back to 3 does incentivize a lot of TCG players to play the DBA package once again, and it might start seeing a play again, considering that it's kind of fallen out of favor throughout the past few formats because of all the new decks that have been coming in. So this might be interesting to see, and I'm curious if anyone will be able to play it at this point. Nadir Servant going back to 3 from being at 1 is also really cool. I hope they bring this back to 3 in the OCG pretty soon, because this was a really good card for the Dogmatica Invoke Shaddoll strategy, and getting a free window on your opponent on your opponent's turn is just really strong with this card, and it's just a really good consistent card for the Dogmatica engine in general. And I have not only been playing it in Dogmatica Invoke Shaddoll, but I've also been messing with it in the past with like Dark Magician, playing a very small Dogmatica engine, and this going to 3 makes it that much more better. So I might update that pretty soon. If you guys want to see that, definitely let me know in the comments below. But yep, that is something that I'm very happy to see go back to 3. Trickstar Life Stage going to 3 is fine. Trickstars have not been doing a whole lot, obviously, ever since the Eternal format ended. So, I mean, this coming back to 3 is okay. Obviously, they did not bring cards like Colossus or Harper or, you know, anything else like that back from TOS formats. So, I mean, this going to 3 is fine. I'm sure that there are maybe 5 players out there that will be happy to see this, but other than that, I don't see this doing a whole lot in their current metagame. And while we're revealing like going to 3, is fine. It's long overdue, it's slow, it's a trap, and it's way too battle focused, and I don't think no one will care that this is back at 3. But yeah, guys, that is gonna be it. That is gonna be my discussion for the ban list for October 2022. And yeah, obviously, guys, Georgia's elephant in the room. Mystic Mine did not get banned, and Tearlament and Spright are looking to be some of the best decks of the format. I'm not too sure about Spright, considering Ronin, Tonin being banned, but you know, it will still be. I will still be somewhat curious to see how that shapes in their meta. But right now, seeing these cards go and potentially seeing Tearlament being the best deck of the next format moving forward is gonna be interesting to see. I really do hope it does not end up being like in the OCG, where this Spright and Exorcisters are almost all that you can play. I really don't hope the TCG reaches that point, but regardless, that's what their meta is going to be looking like, at least from my opinion. So I can't wait to see what people are going to experiment with, and I'm curious to see what the rogue category of decks are going to look like, and see how it's going to shape the overall experience of today's meta. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for my discussion. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Daily OYGO signing off.